Well, are you ready for the top five movies of 1986?
I guess.
All right, I think I started off last time. You want to start?
Yeah.
All right.
So my number five, and we've done this one to death. I was debating whether or not between my five and my
Yeah.
honorable mention. I was going back and forth. The
Okay.
Voyage Home.
Ah, okay. Yes. I almost put it as my honorable mention, but I didn't because there's so many movies this year.
Yeah, there is a lot, but it was it was hard not to to say it because
Yeah, that
I
was a
mean we've
great
done
Star
it.
Trek movie.
Yeah, we did it with the Star Trek movies, obviously, and then we've done it. It came up again another time.
Yeah, I know that made our I think it was in the top three of our Star Trek movies.
Right, it's probably the second best Star
Yeah.
Trek movie.
Well, and it's the most one of the most entertaining for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
because it has a lot of humor in it,
yeah,
which some of them didn't. I mean, there was always one-liner quips that you know brought a
right.
chuckle and stuff. With Bones and stuff, and
And
you know,
Chekhov saying the Wessels
yeah,
instead
right.
of vessels.
The
Yeah.
whistles, yeah,
And the whole thing with Spock, I mean, as if it wasn't enough, just all of them going back to Earth and present day,
right.
enough hijinks ensue with that, but also Spock is still like coming back to life basically and learning how to be someone who's alive, period.
Yeah, I mean, this movie had multiple facets to it. It
Yeah.
was a time
Yeah.
back in time movie. You
Sure.
know,
That was the other episode we talked about it on, I think.
yeah, right, yeah, okay, back in time movie. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
it was a Save the Whales movie.
Right.
It was an
Yeah.
environmental
Yeah.
thing.
They
Yeah,
still were using the Klingon ship from part three,
yeah,
and they parked it and they made it invisible. And he says, "Everyone remember where we parked." That whole
right.
thing.
Yeah, and that's
So
because in Rathacon it got blown up.
right. Yeah. So yeah, good pick, of course.
Yeah,
So my number five is one that we've also talked about, and you will likely have it higher on your list. We'll see, but Aliens.
yes, it's higher on my list.
Okay, thought so. Yeah, we talked about it on James Cameron episode, and maybe even on Creatures episode, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
another entertaining movie of
yeah,
'86.
it was it was weird because the movie almost wasn't made.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie was made 7 years after the first one,
right.
and they didn't have a director for it.
Hmm.
So then they decided to do James Cameron because of uh, the Schwarzenegger movie.
Terminator. Yeah.
Yeah, Terminator. So that did good. So they figured, all right, we'll hire this kid to do Aliens.
Yeah, and he totally changed essentially the genre of the movie because Alien was more a horror movie. This was more of like a, just war against aliens movie, action thriller, and it's
Yeah, it was
succeeded
like
very well.
who's standing last,
Right. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Right. And yeah, Sigourney Weaver, I think was even better in this one. I mean, she was great in the original as well, but she made
Yes,
that Ripley character even more badass in this
yeah,
movie.
they had her asleep for like 57 years. So
Right.
this is like 57 years after the first one,
Right. Yeah.
and then they put a colony
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So there's women, children, you know,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
yeah, then you have the little girl Newt. So they have kind of like that motherly relationship going on. So there's a lot of facets to it too, like and a lot of humor, especially the great Bill Paxton, doing his lines like "Game over,
game over,
man."
man. Yeah.
Yeah. and all that stuff. And yeah, it's keeps you on your toes the whole movie. So yeah, I had to have it. So what's your number 4?
My number 4, I have to go down the list again.
Yeah.
Ta, 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 ta. Oh yeah, and we talked about this one.
Okay.
I think I had this in my horror movie once.
Okay.
The Fly.
Oh yes, right.
Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis,
Right.
Tom Getz.
Was this one directed by Cronenberg? Was that the name? I
Yes, it
think?
was
Yeah.
David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably his most successful movie, and yeah, I mean this was creepy. I know we talked about this. I think you
yeah,
had it at the top of your creatures movie or
yeah. It
list.
had some creepy parts. I mean, so he's a scientist, and Gina Davis is like the science reporter, and so he shows her his like great experiment that he's working on,
Right.
where he can teleport somebody from one place to another. Typical like Star Trek thing.
Yep. Yep.
Beam me
Yeah.
up.
You've got a little running theme going. Yeah.
Yeah, only he wasn't doing too good to it.
Yeah.
The first thing that when he showed her like did a baboon, and then like the baboon came on the other side inside out.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so
I
it
remember.
had like a few bugs in, which he worked out.
Yeah.
And then he decided to do it on himself.
And then the fly gets inside,
And the fly,
yeah.
he knows the fly inside with him. And yeah, so
all uphill from there.
yeah, it was all up there from there. Well, no, in the beginning it wasn't too bad.
Right.
He had strength.
Yeah, right.
And sexual stamina.
Right. Yeah, but then
so
things start falling apart on him, and
right. So, and then things went downhill from there. But
right, yeah,
and it got a little gory and stuff. But yeah, definitely a really good sci-fi movie.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
good pick. So my number 4, I think we may have talked about as well. We're just hitting all the repeats on this one, but on the Tom Hanks episode, The Money Pit.
Ah, yeah, Your Money Pit. I was tempted, but I said no. I figured you'd talk about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite comedies, and one that we revisited quite a bit when we were selling the old house, because we would run into situations that reminded us of The Money Pit, where I'm like, oh my God, we got to fix this thing at the last minute. But
I had the same thing with the Salem Road thing when we tried to sell it. It was like one thing after another. And then like when we sold the house, right? And the guy let us stay there until like September.
Right.
Because our new house wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And then the water heater broke.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
So
that's crazy. Yeah, it was stuff like that with us, where like the guy that was selling our house did an open house, and it happened to rain that day, and we didn't know there was a hole in the gutter, and it was just shooting water onto people as they're walking in. That's how bad it was. But yeah, The Money Pit, man, that takes it to the extreme. So I think everybody can relate in some way to what they're going through, Hanks and Shelley Long. And then I just love like when the stairs collapse and he's hanging there and she steps on his fingers. And it's just classic, man. And when the bathtub falls through the ceiling, and then he just is cracking up, and because he's at the point of losing it. So yeah, nonstop laughs. Had to put it. So all right, what's your number 3?
My number 3, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ah, yes. I also have this higher.
You really? Okay. Director John Hughes.
Yeah, another great John Hughes movie.
Yeah, cost $5.8 million to make, and they made $70.1 million on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. So this is a slacker movie.
For sure. Yeah. The whole plot of the movie is Ferris Bueller pretending to be sick, using his ninth sick day that the principal notices that he's obviously faking. So yeah, it all takes place in one day. For me, it is my favorite John Hughes movie. And it's just so ridiculous. Like,
I know.
There's no way they could have done that many things in one day.
I know. I mean, there's like going all over Chicago, the Art Institute. They watched the ball game at Wrigley's Field.
Yeah, right.
They went to the Sears Tower.
Right.
They
have the fancy lunch. Oh, and then they managed to get in a parade and sing Twist and Shout.
The Von Steuben Day Parade.
You're right. Yes. Oh, man. So great.
And he's singing Dankeschön.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. That as well. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, just every facet of it. I love the Cameron character who doesn't want to be involved, but he's his best friend. So he drags him in with the Ferrari and the whole thing with his father,
Yeah, I know. So great. Yeah, with the car thing. Yeah. And then he's like being real careful. Bueller's going to be real careful. Then they put it in the garage.
Yes.
And they're telling the attendants to be careful with it.
Oh, yeah. And the attendants drive it all over town while they're gone.
And that was the whole thing. Then when they finally looked at the mileage, they went bananas at the mileage. Well, Cameron went bananas on the mileage.
Yeah.
And then the solution to rectify that,
to try and drive it in reverse,
was a poor decision.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, there's so many quotable lines in that movie. I even like lines that no one else would think would be quotable, like when they go to take it to the garage. And that one guy, he goes, "Do you speak English?" And he goes, "What country do you think this is?" And then it's just classic. And then the restaurant scene where, he gets on and pretends to be like the famous sausage king of Chicago. It's like he gets out of every single scenario by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, that's great. He just finagles everything.
Yeah.
And then you got his sister trying to
Jennifer
prove
Grey.
that he wasn't sick, that he was faking it again.
Yeah, that was great.
And the teacher or the principal, was it the principal?
Yeah, the principal's after him the whole movie. And the teachers, like every single cameo is classic, like the Bueller, that guy. And then you got what's the guy? Oh, Charlie Sheen, and even it makes a cameo when no one knew who he was yet, but he plays like that drug addict kid that Jennifer Grey talks to for a minute, and even knows who Ferris is because
I don't know if he played a drug addict.
Yeah, right. Typecast from day one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but absolutely a classic. Great pick. So my number 3, you're going to be pissed off about.
No, I'm not, because I figured you were going to put it on anyway. And actually, it was a pretty good movie. I didn't see it. So.
You know what it is? Hannah and Her Sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great one.
I saw it, when I saw it, I go, here we go again.
Yep. Hey, he's one of the most prolific directors of all time. So not every year I have one, but this one for sure, because Michael Caine plays the lead role, and I think he won the Academy Award for it because he plays the neurotic role very well, and basically the whole movie is his character is having an affair with his wife's sister. Mia Farrow plays his wife. The sister is Barbara Hershey. And then there's a third sister, Diane Wiest, who ends up falling in love with Woody Allen's character. But there's a lot of hilarity that ensues with the drama that Michael Caine is going through or putting himself through. And then Woody Allen thinks he's dying of something. He keeps going to the hospital. And that, of course, he does very well. So it's got a lot of funny parts, but it has some drama. It's got some romance, some sweet stuff. Even Carrie Fisher is in the movie. So it's got a lot of people that are all great. It's one of my favorites, actually, of Woody Allen. So
okay, good.
Had to have it. So
well, yeah, I mean, at this time it was legitimate. So
all right, I'm glad I get your approval on that one.
I was figuring you were almost going to put it at number one.
No. But yeah, I think so. Our number 2 might be the same. I don't know. Let's see. What's yours?
Yeah, it depends. When I tell you what my number 2 is, you'll know that Aliens was number 1.
Ah, okay.
My number 2 is Stand By Me.
Yes, that is my 2 as well.
Okay.
Which we've talked about this on the Stephen King episode.
Right. Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, your buddy Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Great cast.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner directed. Of course, this came from the Stephen King novella called The Body, where it's these 4 kids go out looking for a dead body. What they hear about the kid that had been hit by a train.
Yeah, it's like a coming of age friendship movie.
Right.
You know, it's like they're bonding as, you know, their quest, you know, is going on and stuff. So yeah, it's a quest movie, a bonding movie.
Yeah, I remember I didn't see this in the theater when it came out, but I caught it when it came on cable later. And I just remember, especially being a kid, thinking like there was no other movie where kids talk like this until then, where they're just, you know, cursing left and right. I'm like, this is more like real life.
Yeah.
So, and then of course it's narrated by Richard Dreyfuss. He does great with the whole he's narrating for the Will Wheaton character.
Right.
And yeah, it was cool because you could relate to all the kids in some way. You know, they were all kind of mischievous outsiders that, you know, River Phoenix especially was great in that movie, as he always was. But Feldman, probably his best performance too, as Teddy Duchamp, the one who was like the most troubled, I would say. His father like put his ear on a stove or something like that.
Again, it's like the beginning of real life for him.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, so many great scenes. Every scene is classic. I mean, the train scene is super intense. And then, you know, them around the campfire and him telling the story about the Barforama and the leeches. I mean, it's just great.
Yeah, it had like everything.
Yeah.
And then the confrontation at the end with Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kiefer Sutherland is such a good villain, man. He's great in it. So yeah, and then the kid saying with the gun saying "suck my fat one" or whatever he says to the guy. It's like, that's great. I love it. All right, well, good number 2.
Yeah, the same thing too. And you know, he had the gun on Ace, and Ace says to him, "You're going to shoot the entire gang," and he goes, "No, Ace, just
you." Yeah, yeah, classic lines, man. Yeah, so my number 1 obviously was Ferris Bueller. So so this is going to be interesting. We have 3 in common. So my 1 is your 3. Your 1 is my 5. So I think we got to put Ferris at 1 and Aliens at 2 by that rationale. And then we can put Stand By Me at 3. So then, let's see, the next one down for me. Oh, wow. You had the top three just in different order. So my next one down is Hannah and Her Sisters at 3. So I guess we got to put that at 4.
Wait, you just said that we had the top three.
You did. You had all three of the top 3 in yours.
Right, but then you just put Hannah and Her Sisters at 3.
No, I'm putting it at 4.
Oh, okay, you said 3.
So now at number 5, I guess it's between The Fly and The Money Pit, which I think The Fly is definitely ranked higher on Letterboxd.
You think?
Hey, don't be mean to The Money Pit.
Hey,
man.
you never know.
So much repeat value. Okay, The Fly is a 3.9. Yeah, The Money Pit is only a 3.0.
A 3.0, okay.
All right, so that's good.
Yeah.
So before we read it off, what was your honorable mention?
Oh, yeah. My honorable mention was why don't I have the thing? Oh, there it is. Top Gun.
That was my honorable mention.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't put it in the top 5.
Yeah, I almost did, but I was like, I can't put that over Aliens.
I mean, the only thing that was really good about the movie, besides the romance between Cruise and Kelly McGillis,
yeah,
was the aerial stuff.
Yeah.
All the dog fights and the fighting scenes when they're at the school and stuff, the training, airplane stuff. That was the movie.
At the time, there was nothing like it as far as realistic, dog fighting stuff like that. And yeah, I think Tony Scott directed it. Of course, he would go on to do more and more action movies, but yeah, the music, the soundtrack was a huge thing. The Kenny Loggins,
Take My Breath Away.
Yeah. Highway to the Danger Zone, all that. So it really became more of, and then, of course, as years went on, people would make fun of it for various reasons. But I mean,
what was the song that he used to like pick up girls?
Oh, right. The Righteous Brothers.
Lost your loving feeling.
Yes, Of course. Yeah, that's a classic scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tom Cruise was great because he really committed to the role. And then, Goose, played by Anthony Edwards, Iceman, Val Kilmer was great. Really, everybody in it was really, really good. Tom Skerritt.
The main thing with Cruise in the movie, people admired his flying,
right?
But he always left his wingman to go off and do something else.
Yeah,
so that was the whole thing throughout the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was just a little too much of a troublemaker, but the best of the best.
He lived by his his moniker, Maverick.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it can be a little cheesy, but if it's ever on and I catch it, I watch it because it's fun 80s nostalgia.
Yeah.
And actually, it can sometimes get you like, all riled up. So yeah, that's a good honorable mention.
Yeah. And this was a movie that took him to the next level also.
Yeah, for sure. Well, very good. All right. So let's read off the best of the best, according to us, movies of 1986. At number 5, The Fly. At number 4, Hannah and Her Sisters. At number 3, Stand By Me. At number 2, Aliens. And at number 1, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very happy about the number 1 spot. That's just I've seen that movie like millions of times.
Anyway, if you went by Letterboxd, I'm sure it wasn't number 1. But...
Yeah, probably not. But I don't know, man. A lot of people love that movie.
Oh no, it was a great movie. It was a fun movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, Aliens wasn't really a fun movie. It was, a horror movie.
Well, it was more fun than the original, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the original was like setting it up, though.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the best sequels of all time, for sure.
Right. It's one of the few that had a really good sequel, better than the first.
Yeah. So speaking of sequels, 1987, I'm going to have, I know on my list, one of the best sequels of all time as well. So I won't give it away, but you'll see.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. There aren't too many, movies that had a second good sequel.
That's true.
Probably 10. Probably
Yeah.
count them on, on two hands.
It'd probably be easy to do a top 5 of it. Eventually, we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, then we'll have the same movies that we've always had.
Yeah, well, this one I would venture to say this is one of the few where the sequel is even better than the first one. So I'll leave you in suspense.
You just said that with Aliens.
Yeah, that's true.
And Khan, the same thing.
And Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. We got our top 5 filled in. All right, well, catch us on the next one. Top 5 of 1987. If you like this, like and subscribe and all that. And I'll see you then. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.